Alright, today is another Forestry 101, mainly about fire, particularly the wildfire out in California. Many years ago I worked at a fire lab in Macon, Georgia, and worked with a lot of fire scientists and learned about fire behaviors. And we had talked about California and how it's unique in its geology, especially around the San Andreas Fault and everything associated with the Santa Ana winds. So briefly, long ago when all the plates were coming together, the continents were forming, they all formed together, and right near California they collided and formed the San Andreas Mountains, or the Sierra Nevadas, and that created a unique fire ecosystem. On the west side, out over the ocean, you got all that moisture coming in, and that's a lot to do with why you got all the coastal redwoods and that whole, it's beautiful out there. But on the east side of the mountains, it's all dry and you got the deserts, and there's a reason for that, but I won't go into it. But a little bit about the Santa Ana winds is that on the east side of the Sierras, you got all that desert, and there's a lot of convective heat going up, and that forms a high pressure system many times throughout the year, and that's a high, and it's a pressure area. And then out in the ocean to the west, you've got the cooler ocean waters. It's a low, and it causes a whole convective current of winds that currently blow through all those canyons, and it's crazy. And that's where everybody's living, and they have lived there, and fire's been a regular part. But the area around the Palisades, it hadn't burned in a while. It was just due. I'm not going to go into why I think it started, but they've been trying for years to prepare and adapt for fire. Some people did better than others on how they built their houses, or their homeowners out there have fire-wise landscaping where you're required to thin and everything around your house or you get fined. Kind of like me getting fined here in North Carolina. If I don't have something to correct edging in my yard, I get fined. But out there, they have to do fire-wise landscaping, and it's horrible what's going on with them out there. A lot of people won't be building back. They're going to move away. They won't be able to even afford fire insurance, even if they had it, to build a new house. I think that's why a lot of people are moving inland or moving here to North Carolina. My neighborhood here, it's either people from New York or California. And California, it's either burning up or shaking up. But it's just it's sad. And then you can't blame any one person or agency, but usually what happens, you have building standards that people go around. And from what I understand, in California, a lot of people had requirements to build with different materials when they've had fires before, but they wouldn't, or they went around the ordinance and went on and built with cedar shingles and more houses per per acre. But it's sad, and they'll have to build back smarter because there will be fire again. It's no different in Florida with all the hurricanes. If anybody does want to live on the coast and it gets washed away, they're going to have to build up in more hurricane resistant structures. It's a lot what they're going to have to do in California. But fire has been around, and it's going to always be around. I'll have to leave you with that analogy from one of the movies I always liked. The captain in Jaws was telling the scuba diver, I think Hooper or whatever, about to get in the water with the sharks. And he looks at him and says, shark in the water, man in the water. Well, let me give you that same analogy with fire. Fire in the forest, man in the forest. It's always been here, and it's going to continually be here. You're just going to have to adapt. And that's my Forestry 101.